Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Miami Beat, your source for all things entertainment, where we bring you the pulse of Miami's vibrant music and cultural scene. From the salty rhythms of salsa and merengue to the energetic beats of popular music, we've got it all covered. Join us as we take you on a journey through the city's hottest clubs, festivals, events, and introduce you to the talented artists and performers who make Miami the cultural capital of the South. So sit back and relax with the Miami Beat. Now, here's your host, Rene Guim.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us at Miami Beat. I have a very special guest today, and I'm very happy to have him here. Tito Puente Jr. Tito, welcome on our show.
Rene, muchas
gracias. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
My
Great
pleasure.
to be here. Miami Beat. I love you guys. Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Tito, you have a tremendous history in the music industry. Please talk about that a little bit. Where were you born? What prompted you to get into the music business? Because you have a phenomenal career.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm the son of the Mambo King and Latin legend, Mr. Tito Puente. We were born in New York City in a place called El Barrio, which is a couple square blocks where predominantly Puerto Rican and Latinos live.
Spanish Harlem, right?
Spanish Harlem, that's what they call it, yeah. My father was born and raised there. I myself was born there along with my sister and my brother, and we're from New York City. And, my father was, of course, the king of Latin music, and just an amazing career. Passed away about 23 years ago, but has over 180 albums, a 7-time Grammy Award winner, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Very big shoes to fill, but I've been continuing his legacy and performing his music for the past 23 years, and I've been celebrating his music for 20 years now. I'm celebrating this year his 20th year, and we're also celebrating his 100th anniversary this year as well. Tito Puente was born in 1923.
Wow.
So now in 2023, we're celebrating his centennial of Tito Puente and his life, his legacy. It's been an amazing ride, and I'm so grateful to have the privilege and honor of being his son and performing his music, and still having the fans that were around back then still enjoy his music today.
What was it like growing up with such a huge star? And
Amazing. Wow, what can I say? Everybody and their mother would come over the house. Celia Cruz, Carlos Santana, Gilberto Santa Rosa, and then, of course, the American Tony Bennett, and, all those great, beautiful artists, Dionne Warwick. There were so many great musical artists that would call the house and come over the home. And I didn't understand who my father was when I was younger. I didn't know that I was into I was an 80s kid, Gen X, I call it myself. Mm-hmm. So I was into, of course, rock music. I liked the heavy metal stuff, the Bon Jovi, the Def Leppard, the classic rock music, the Led Zeppelin. I was into that. I wasn't into mambo or salsa music. And then, of course, traveling with my father in my teenage years, that's when I started learning about the clave rhythm and how popular he was. Mm-hmm. I didn't... funny story, Rene, that I went to a Menudo concert back in 1985 or 84, wow. And they said, "Hey, con ustedes aquí estamos Tito Puentes," was in the audience at Madison Square Garden, and everybody in the whole stadium or the whole arena looked at my father, and the lights went on him, and Menudo was giving him applause, and my dad was just taking us to a Menudo concert, and he became this celebrity. He took over the whole concert, but that's when I really realized how popular he was.
Was this Menudo when Ricky Martin was very young with Menudo?
I think it was probably when Ricky was a baby, and maybe even before Ricky. It was like when Menudo just started, but it was an amazing experience to see the amount of people that really recognize Tito Puente and his contributions to Latin music.
If I recall, wasn't that the concert at Central Park?
Yes, there was many concerts at Central Park too, where my father would perform. There were a lot of free concerts that they had, and he would play with rock bands, and he played with Carlos Santana in a big concert on the pier in New York. And I didn't realize how, again, popular he was until the rock audience started learning about Afro-Cuban music and Tito Puente music, Latin jazz music.
Exciting segue into that kind of music. It was. What was it like? When did you get your first set of drums or first set of timbales?
As a kid, I'm sure your parents say, no toca nada. They don't want you touching any of their stuff. We had a garage up in Rockland County, about 20 minutes north of Manhattan, and there were a lot of timbales. bongos, marimba, xylophones, a lot of percussion instruments, guido, maraca, all that stuff was in the garage, and that's where my father had most of his drums, and when he toured. And he would say, don't touch my drums. And as an 11-year-old kid or 10-year-old kid at the time, what do? You go in the garage, you start banging on stuff. And then I wanted my first drum set. I'm a trap kit player. The trap kit, for those who might not know, is a standard drum set where you have the kick drum, snare drum, hi-hat, and the cymbals. Most rock bands play with a trap kit drummer, or they have like the double bass drums. So I started off playing that, and my father did not teach me how to play drums. He had to go to school and learn how to read and write music, so I'm grateful for that he didn't have the patience of teaching his son how to do rudiments. But I'm glad that I learned from a teacher, Sam Mulano, and God rest his soul. He taught me how to play trap kit first, and then I started gravitating towards the salsa sounds of 2-3-3-2 clave, cla, 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 cla. That sound is the metronome for a lot of Latin jazz and salsa performers.
What school did you go to learn that?
Well, I took lessons first, and then I went to Five Towns College out in Long Island, and I kept, transporting myself back and forth to the house. At that time, I was working a job. I worked in telemarketing, newspaper, worked at Pizza Hut, McDonald's. I think I did every job in the book, and I'm glad that my father did that, because it would have been very easy for him to just, be the son of Tito Puente and not learn those trades and those traits to have as a musician. Sure. To have that respect and honor to work for your money and earn it. And I'm glad that my father pushed me to do that. He said, you got to have a job first before you can come on the road with me and do well in school as well.
Wow, that was phenomenal, because it gave you the perfect foundation for knowing and understanding and appreciating what the music industry is all about and how to be able to develop your own career. So that was that's great information to share with our audiences, Tito. I really appreciate it. You know what I'd like to do at this time? I would like to ask Andre, our producer, to cue up one of your great songs. It's called 20 Años, and I want to share that with the audience, because I think this is a phenomenal song. This is one of your first productions, correct?
This was my most recent production.
Most recent, okay.
And celebrating the 20th anniversary of Tito Puente, and of course the centennial. My father's featured in the record, and he's in the video, and let's take a look. It's fantastic.
Go ahead, Andre, please. Thank you.
Puente ha llegado con su sandunga. No se equivoquen con Tito Junior.
That was great. I really, truly enjoyed that, Tito. That was phenomenal. And this is your most recent one, right?
Most recent production. I have Frankie Negron, Jose Alberto Canario, Domingo Quiñones, Michael Stewart, an all-star tribute to my late father, Tito Puente. And you saw my father at the beginning there. I took some footage of him right before he passed away in a production that he did in New York. And it was nice. It was a nice thing. Marlo Rosado, my buddy, did the production on the record. And the whole album really has a slew of different artists. Sheila E., Pete Escovedo, Tony Vega, my brother Ronnie Puente playing a marimba.
Right.
It's a really great record. It's called The King and I. It's out now. You can get it on all digital platforms.
Yeah,
and
there it is.
Yeah, there it is. I got it on a compact disc.
Yeah,
you get it at Amazon.com. That's for you.
Thank you very much.
And I also connected it with, I sell it online with some hot sauce. So Tito Puente Jr. salsa para escuchar y salsa para comer.
This is great. If you have not if you're not downloaded this yet, you have to download it, because this is excellent, Tito. Thank you very much. This is a treasure.
Sí, hermano.
And just so as you know, I do have a CD player, so no problem.
I was going to say, I told you that earlier.
Yeah.
We
And,
have it on compact disc and all digital platforms. But great record. The video's on YouTube, so make sure you guys check it out. And I got a slew of you. I have a YouTube channel too. Just go to Tito Puente Jr.
Exactly. So, born in New York, Spanish Harlem, you came down. When did you come down to South Florida? Where did you start your career in South Florida?
Wow, Rene, I got to tell you, I've probably been here, I'm going to say 30 plus years. So I came down right after Hurricane Andrew. So we're looking at 92, 93.
Right.
So that's about 30 years ago, right?
Yes.
So I guess I'm a South Floridian now. I didn't lose my accent, but I'm a Floridian, and I love living down in South Florida. The community here is beautiful. Miami-Dade County is a gorgeous place to be. I lived in both counties, Broward and Dade County, for most of my time living here. I think it's because it's the international hub of the Americas, and it's easy for me to travel and promote Tito Puente music. And my father bought a condo down here before he passed away in 2000, and that's why he wanted to probably retire here, after he was done with his career. But I love South Florida. I've been here 30 plus years, and I got to tell you, it's a great place to live. I think a lot of transplanted New Yorkers move down here, and a lot of mucho músico, a lot of musicians live here too as well.
A lot of great,
fantastic
New Yorkican, if I can use that terminology, entertainers perform down here.
Yes.
And you share the stage with a lot of them too. Talk about some of these great artists that you have shared the stage with, because I know you've shared the stage with some of the most amazing singers and performers in the industry today.
I have such a great thrill in my heart every time I perform the music of my late father, Tito Puente, with these artists that worked with my father. Sheila E., Pete Escovedo, Willie Chirino, Gloria Estefan. They're such great people, and the community, too, here down in South Florida is so loving. And the Afro-Cuban music, that's what my father plays. A lot of people call it salsa.
Right.
My dad used to say, salsa, tomate, goya. Salsa is what you put your chips in at the restaurant.
Exactly.
The music officially is really called Afro-Cuban music, guanguancó, rumba, cha-cha-cha, mambo music. And today the new generation is learning a lot more about Celia Cruz, Tito Puente, those historical figures, they're titans of mambo and salsa music that really open up the doors for all Latin artists. That includes, the Mark Anthonys, the Indias, the Jennifer Lopez, the Ricky Martins, all of them have all attributed their careers somewhat to Tito Puente and Celia Cruz, the impact that they have left, and the generational bridge. My last name is Puente, and Tito Puente's last name means bridge in Spanish, and that's what my father did. He bridged cultures. Remember, he started in 1949.
Wow.
So every generation heard of Tito Puente, his music, and the style of mambo music that we hear today, we call salsa.
And your father is a veteran.
Yes.
He fought in World War II, correct?
World War II. Tito Puente was a Navy man. He fought on the USS Santee. He was private first class Ernesto Antonio Puente Jr. And he was also a cook, a line cook, and he played in an orchestra. And that's where he got his chops at the ripe old age of 18 or 19, because at that time you got drafted into the war in 1941. And he was drafted for 3 years. After that, what they did when you left your battle service, he fought in 9 battles, and he won an accommodation from the President of the United States and Purple Heart. But when you left serving your time in the military at that time, they gave you what they call a GI Bill, and that covered your schooling, because the kids were very young at that time that served our country. So my father used that GI Bill to go to Juilliard School of Music and become the composer and arranger, and thus becoming Tito Puente.
Wow, what an amazing career. What an amazing opportunity. Juilliard Art School, I mean, that doesn't really get much better than that, does it?
No, you have to audition to get in that school too. But my father was learning about writing music on the USS Santee when he was at war. A lot of downtime for those soldiers that served the country. So he would write and then write, home. And at that time, it was great that he got to still work with Machito, Tito Rodriguez, all those great musicians of that era. Caco, Pupi Campo. He was working with those bands, sending them arrangements by being in the Pacific Ocean. Yeah. But that's how talented and Tito Puente was. He had that desire to play music and to think the Afro-Cuban sounds that he could share with the world.
Well, he shared that DNA with you, because you certainly have become, a tremendous musician, a tremendous artist, and I commend you for that. I would like to share one more song with our audience right now. What's the next one that we're going to cue up now? It's,
This tune is called Agua Limpia Todo. This is an old classic Tito Puente song that I remade on an album called Got Mambo. The first release came out in 1957.
Wow.
And it features Jose Arroyo on vocal. Let's check it out. You guys will enjoy.
Go ahead. That's phenomenal. I really, truly enjoyed that. That's
Sabroso.
excellent. Excellent. So you not only got the DNA from your dad as far as the musical background, but you're also a producer, composer. You do everything. Where do you get all these fantastic ideas from?
Well, the inspiration that my father left within me has always given me that desire to do something more than myself and to give back to the community too. So I always feel like his music was always left. He has 10,000 arrangements, so I continue his legacy, and I always felt my father wanted to play in all four corners of the planet, and he wanted to make sure that everybody remembered who his music was. He used to say, I'm going to put my timbales on the moon, and he would go up there one day in a rocket, and maybe one day we'll send his timbales up there, and we're getting closer to that. And his spirit is what drives me every morning. And then I try to channel that spirit through the music of Tito Puente, performing his music around the world in obscure places that I've never even been to or heard of before, or nor has my father been to before. I think he's performed on every continent except Antarctica. But I think the people really enjoy the music. And again, I'm bridging the generation. My father passed away 23 years ago, and I'm connecting those kids that are here today, who are 18, 19, 15, 10 years old, who never got to see Tito Puente. Maybe they can feel his music through my concerts and my performances, and I'm glad I could bridge, that community together with my children too. My son Tito Puente Jr., getting him inspired through his grandfather's music, who he never met, but hopefully he will take after me, and keep his grandfather's music going for the new generation.
That would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. Talk about the most interesting place in the world that you have ever performed. I know you've performed all over the world. But what was the most interesting location, venue, stage that you ever performed at? Do you recall?
Well, I could tell you some bizarre places.
Okay.
I performed at a prison one time for some inmates. I performed in a couple of churches, a couple of funerals, which is a little out of my league, but I guess that's a Hispanic thing, to perform at a funeral. But I guess the most amazing place that I performed, and they knew the music of Tito Puente, was probably in Nepal, which is a beautiful country and very spiritual. Namaste. And we performed over there at the base of Mount Everest. Wow. And there were Nepalian monks there who knew Oye Como Va and these songs. And it was great seeing everybody come together, multicultural people. There were Latinos there as well. There's Latinos everywhere around the world. But that was one of the most exquisite places that I performed. And there have been so many others, different countries where they don't know the language. Of course, Japan and the Orient, the Far East, Malaysia, Indonesia, those cultures derive from other sorts of different sounds. And when we bring our Latino roots and our culture to them, they're very inspired by that, as we are to their culture too. And I would bring Indonesian drum players up on stage with me to play with, Oye Como Va, Rangkangkang, these hit songs of Tito Puente. But it's very bizarre and to see, and very amazing to see different cultures come together with Tito Puente music. They don't know the language of Spanish or English, but they know the words to the tunes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what very exciting experiences. But talking about exciting experiences, you performing with Gloria Estefan. Gloria Estefan just inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. What was it like? How did you feel being on the same stage with Gloria Estefan?
Gloria and Emilio, I always throw Emilio in there because he's amazing.
He is.
Both
Emilio's
of them
fantastic.
have been so instrumental in the community, especially in South Florida. I love performing with them. They loved my father, my Tito Puente. They celebrated the 30th anniversary of Mi Tierra with a beautiful album. Tito Puente was featured on that, along with Sheila E. And they are very kind to my family. And I was in a great experience sharing the stage at the Latin Grammy Awards with Gloria. And, of course, sharing the stage with Emilio at the Musa Awards.
The Musa Awards, yes.
That was really special as they honored Tito Puente there.
I was there. I had the honor of being there.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, it was, what an amazing concert. What an amazing night that was. You know, watching you on stage, seeing you on stage with Emilio and all these phenomenal artists. It was
Yes.
At the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, and they were at the Hard Rock Live auditorium.
Correct.
Phenomenal. And Marlo was there also.
My buddy Marlo was there.
Your buddy was there.
Always part of it. They always tribute Dad, and because he was a prolific songwriter. But I love the Stefans. They're great people. Emily, what a great drummer. The daughter, they're all talented. Naib, the son, they're all great people, and I love the fact that I'm part of this South Florida community for 30 years. That they've embraced me as their musical son, and I love that about them. Of course, shouts out to all the others, John Sakata, the Will Chirino, the whole family set. They're so beautiful. Like, I love all of them, and they've treated me kindly as I've moved forward with my father's music.
Well, you're definitely an icon in the South Florida community, and you dedicate a lot of your time to nonprofit organizations and causes. Talk about that a little bit. I've seen you perform at venues for so many different causes in this community. What drives you to do that kind of stuff? And talk about some of the different events, activities that you have performed at.
Fundraising to me is very, very key. My father did the Tito Puente Scholarship Fund. With that, we'd give underprivileged kids the opportunity to learn about music and to learn to go to conservatory or university of music and learn more about their craft and their instrument, whether it be vocal or piano lessons or anything like that. When it comes to music things or fundraising with music, Music Cares program what the NARIS has, I love being a part of that. Encouraging more schools to have musical programs, musical instruments. If I could talk to the kids, inspire them, to inspire children and to inspire kids to play the music of Puente and Celia Cruz. They were two inspirational figures that no longer with us, but hopefully I can channel their spirits through my presentations that I do. I love talking to different students in different colleges, especially out in the Midwest, where you wouldn't believe that Latin music exists. In Iowa, in Utah, in places where obscure musicians maybe not reached, or salsa or Latin music has reached. I go to these places, and with my name and my brand, and they know who Tito Puente is, I try to explain to them what mambo music is and how impactful it means to Latin music today. One of the biggest artists today, Rene, is Mr. Bad Bunny. And he always attributes most of his talent and his career to the Fania All-Stars, to Tito Puente, to Celia Cruz, to the ones that really led the path for reggaeton music and hip-hop music and all the music that we hear today, whether it be dance, freestyle, house music. All that music is derivative of Latin music and conga, timbal, bongo. That's what really makes drive people to dance floors and make them dance. And it's nice to see that the artists today are recognizing that. And hopefully that I can continue that through my father's legacy in his music.
Well, you're doing a phenomenal job at that, Tito. I mean, you're certainly recognized for that, and everybody loves watching you perform, and everybody enjoys all of your performances. But I want to change the subject a little bit, because I also know that you're an avid sportsman. You love sports. You are really into sports. I had the pleasure of watching you interact here with Grant Miller, who is, you guys were talking about sports.
Yeah.
What's your favorite sport?
Wow, I got so many. I'm a football head, so I'm waiting for the August, right? August, September, get the preseason going. I'm a Dolphin fan. I love the Dolphins too. Of course, South Florida and I'm a basketball head too. I love what the Heat's been doing. They're just an incredible championship winning team. I love that. Of course, I got to give shouts out to the New York teams too, simply because I live in both places. Sure. The Giants, and of course, Yankee fan. I'm a hardcore Yankee fan as well. But I love sports. I love all sports. I also like wrestling too. I like watching that WWE stuff, and I'm a junkie for that stuff. Hulk Hogan and The Rock and all that. I really get into all that too. So you'll see me on Monday nights watching Monday Night Raw, watching that stuff. But I love all sports. I really encourage kids, whether they like music or sports entertainment, it's all really one thing, and it really is to bring people together and to enjoy camaraderie of being together in a stadium. Unlike what we were a couple of years ago, we were all in in our old cubby holes. Now we can
hunker down.
We were all hunkered down. We were in the whole pandemic thing, and I'm glad that now we can all have concerts. We can all go to sports places together and really enjoy that camaraderie of being united.
What was it like being hunkered down like that during the pandemic? What was going through your mind when you realized all of a sudden that the entire world was shut down and there were no performances? There were virtually nobody on the streets. And what did you feel like at that time?
Oh, well, it was exactly what it was, a pandemic or epidemic, whatever you want to call it. It was difficult for musicians because we celebrate our art through channeling it through the audience, and we didn't have that audience. We had to do, of course, social media. But what I did notice, Rene, that I was very, very impressed with is that a lot of people were not letting that get to them, where I saw a lot more people dancing to Tito Puente music and salsa music during that period of time through social media. And you could see it through the Spotify sales and just the views of how many people were listening to Tito Puente music and how much my father's music connected people, whether it be in Italy or even in China, all over the world. They were dancing to Tito Puente music, and that brought us together even closer as a world, as a unit. It was difficult, but I did record the King and I album during that time. I had to record in separate studios and remotely, but I got everybody on the album. They all wanted to do it, I guess, for that one cause, and that's celebrating life, the life of Tito Puente, the celebration of just music in general. But we got through it. We're on the other end of it, I hope. And it's nice that I'm doing concerts now. I've been touring around the world, seeing the audiences. They're coming out, and I'm so glad for that.
And tonight, you're performing where?
Esta noche, tonight, I will be at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida. Come on out. It's a free show, 8:30 p.m. You guys can come poolside. And then I'm heading out to Omaha, Nebraska this weekend, and then to Philadelphia. Next week, we'll be in Hartford, Connecticut. All the shows and all the concerts that I'm doing, the tickets and stuff like that, you can check it out on my social media pages, at Tito Puente Jr. on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, TikTok. I'm doing the TikTok thing with my kids. So just go there and you can see everything Tito Puente Jr., documentary series coming, biopic on my life story of Tito Puente. We're doing some great, great things.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Tito, talk about some of these upcoming concerts that I see that Andre has this up on the screen now so that everybody can say. Talk about some of these venues that you're going to be performing.
The venues that I'm performing at, a lot of the ones that you see here, I did the slew of concerts. This is a centennial tour where I'm celebrating the centennial of Tito Puente. So it's a special concert series where it's almost very educational too, because you go to the show, you bring your dancing shoes, and everybody's standing up at the end of the night. But it's very interactive, and I try to get people to understand where Tito Puente and his history, and we celebrate his life and all the great hits that he had. Ran Can Can, El Cayuco, Mamo Gosong, Oye Kuma. We set our hearts on playing all those songs with a full orchestra, big band, so it's really, really swinging. Most of the concerts that you see on your right side of your screen are up-and-coming ones. They're really cool places that I'm going to. We've added so many more shows, Rene. So you've got to watch my social media on my Instagram pages and Facebook pages for new and upcoming dates. A lot of them are free, and some of them are ticketed events, but some of them are universities and conservatories of music, mostly festivals. But I encourage everybody to come on out, learn more about Tito Puente during my show. It's interactive, you will enjoy yourself, and it's family friendly.
Phenomenal. And of course, there'll be the Tito Puente salsa there as well, right?
You'll have the hot sauce too if you guys want some, and of course the brand new CD.
That's on your webpage, correct?
That's
you can
right.
buy it directly from your webpage.
Yes,
Hot sauce.
you can get the Tito Puente Jr. salsa picantes. I have mango, maple syrup. I have picante de sweet green pepper, tamarindo. I also have guava. They're hot sauces picantes. Get them at Tito Puente Jr. myshopify.com or go to the website, which are the social media pages: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Tito Puente Jr. And I'll throw in an autographed picture for you guys. And you can put them on anything: arroz con habichuela, frijoles, bacalao, de todo. It's for everybody and everything. And 4th of July is coming up, so it's a perfect time to get your hot sauce.
Maybe when they put the order in, they could just mention Miami Beat, and then you'll be able to send them the autograph picture with it.
Absolutely. I'll hook you guys up, and we'll connect the link with the Miami Beat website too as well.
Phenomenal, phenomenal. Well, Tito, I can't thank you enough for being here today. This is one of the first images that I recall seeing of you. I've had the pleasure of booking you before, and not only seeing you on stage, but also interacting with you off stage. So this is, I definitely want you to autograph this for me today. And once again, thank you for the CD. It's a real pleasure. Please make sure you download this, because this is an excellent, excellent CD, excellent production, and you will really enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been really a pleasure having this amazing musician, this amazing star. Next week, we'll have the pleasure of having Dr. Ed Calle. Dr. Calle couldn't come today, but I have a great replacement today with Tito. So Dr. Ed Calle next week on the Miami Beat, 1 p.m. on Friday afternoons. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a great week.